Hey, what's up? I'm just showing you a sort of overview of BandPassOSC and how to work it and how to get information out of it. First off, the audio in. Say you start up the app and then you plug in your microphone. It's not going to know that the microphone's in there right away. You need to update the whole system. And same thing goes with audio out, but we can pick built-in microphone or an audio interface that's coming in. In this case, I'm going to use Soundflower. And Soundflower is this thing that allows me to take audio that's coming from the computer that would normally be going to speakers and reroute it back into the computer so that another program can pick it up without any sort of in between having to go through air and then getting picked up by a microphone. So once that's done, then I can pick the audio out, and this is just a way for me to hear what the band frequency ranges are, what they sound like, and whether I am sort of doing a good job of isolating specific sounds, whether that be a bass drum or a snare or a hi-hat. So I'm just going to use my Scarlett 18i, and then here we have the microphone. So we've told it where to come from, but we haven't turned it on. So when we do turn it on, then here we have sound coming through because I have in my system settings the output going to, so it's going out of Soundflower and then it's getting picked up by Soundflower. And then we have audio out here. We have adjustable audio volume sliders, and over here we have the actual IP address. So 127.0.0.1 is a local IP address. That means that anything that any of the programs that it's talking to within this computer are going to be on the local IP address. However, if I were trying to send OSC data to someone else's computer that was running the whatever program, then I would need to know that computer's IP address. The port number is similar, that you need to have the sending port, which is this particular app, and the receiving port matching up. And over here, down here, we have this UDP receive that I made that it's receiving on 8000 and it's also receiving on 8050, and we'll see what happens there. Over here we have raw audio gain. So unaffected audio is going to be coming out of the left speaker, and you can adjust how loud it's coming out, and you can turn it completely off or on to the degree that the level is up. Over here we have the raw audio spectroscope, and this is allowing us to see the peaks and troughs throughout the entire audible frequency spectrum. Here we also have the exaggerator, so it's just making the peaks a lot more visible. So if we have audio coming through, you can see that the peaks are getting larger with that, and then they also get smaller with that. Down here we have, I guess I should go to audio status. So this is just sampling rates, choosing the sampling rate, the vector sizes and the I/O vector sizes. The smaller the vector sizes, then sort of the faster it's going to process the audio, because it's not taking nearly as many samples. Instead of taking 2048 samples, it could drop down to one sample or 32 samples, 64. And because we're not looking for a lot of continuity when it comes to audible fidelity, because all the audio is just being interpreted and then translated into data, and so we don't have to hear it again, and our ears are so much better at hearing it than the other computer really cares to be able to. So we can actually drop this. So I'll leave it there for now and move on. So this 1 through 4, this is covering the bands 1 through 4 of the frequency ranges, and it's just affecting all of the audio for the lower bands, and the same thing over here, and in the same way that the raw audio on and off, you can turn them off and on. So that's pretty straightforward. Once we get into the individual bands, then we can individually hear them by doing that, and then we can go into the workspace of that specific band. So here we can see that and this slider is actually sort of the data that's going out. So when it's high, the highest it can go is 1, and it'll do a float of everything in between. But that actually corresponds pretty closely to the volume, the meter down here, and this is just a little extra thing. Here we have another exaggerator. Here we have the actual frequency range that's going to be picked up. So this is adjusting so that, and we can look over here, that starts 24 hertz and then up to 22,000 hertz. A way to get a little bit more refined is using the refining slider, which will add up to 250 to it or subtract 250. So if we went down, then the lowest we can get, or the lowest that I've allowed it to be, is 15 hertz, but let's say we do this, then it should go up to about 500 when we're in the middle, and then up to there. So it's just a way of refining. Here we have the Q band, so this is making it more precise, so less frequencies outside of the scope of the specific frequency range will be picked up, and if you bring it all the way down so it has 0 precision, then it's going to let everything through. So if you want to be more precise, and generally I'm probably going to be around here, that does a pretty good job. Then moving on, let's see, what else do we have? We did the full range, we did the subs, and now we come to storing. So say I want this to be sub bass and I want this one to be bass. I can store those settings. I'm going to put this one in the middle and put it at a Q band of that. Put this one in the middle and put its Q band like that. So then I can just store, and I know that it went through because the little the light lit up. And let's turn all these on, and let's go over here and change. Let's turn it up all the way, and let's turn it to the low mid range. Then we can store that at 2, and when we want to, we can go back to 1, and then we can compare it with 2 and how each one sounds. And when you close out, then it'll save everything, or at least it should. That's what I've been working pretty hard to make it do. And then you open it up, it should remember everything. The only thing it won't remember is the audio in. You'll have to specify that each time, as well as the audio outs and the levels over here. It will remember the IP address, and it should remember the port number. So over here we see the actual receiver, and it's going through this sort of spastic thing. That's because it's receiving all 8 bands at the same time, and if you had just hundreds of OSC data, then the thing would just be freaking out. And so there's no real way of doing a good job of splitting it up unless you do an OSC route and then routing it to the specific band. So here we have UDP receive at 8050, so let's go up here and change this to 8050. Great, so we do have information coming through 8050, and because we did an OSC route, we routed it to just the band 1, so it's only getting this data. So actually, if we increase it there, then it should be getting more information. And we can really get lots of information if we just do that. There we go. And that's it. Hopefully that's helpful, and you can use the app without a problem now. All right, have a good one.